So, fine. Okay, so hi everybody. So today the lightning talk will be about R integration in SQL Server 2016, one of the new feature that Microsoft prepared in 2000 for the last version of SQL Server. A couple of things about me. If you want to contact me, leave me an email, follow me on Twitter, or I have a blog. But otherwise, I have more than 15 years experience in SQL Server and data analysis. Currently, I'm working for international company called Spar in Spar ECS under Austria. And that's about it. So, what was the barriers that Microsoft had to take when considering integrating R into SQL Server? So, a couple of barriers, of course, were present. So one was R being an open source, and there was a lot of enterprise companies saying that they don't know really about the ownership and the costs and the support for any open source program. What Microsoft did was they integrated it, made it in one version was a community edition and the other one was the paid edition. With this paid or commercial edition, Microsoft also enables users to have the support. Another thing was it was always the time pressure deploying the analytical models. So without moving data to different tools, Microsoft also managed to create a integrated platform with R where data already resides in your transactional system, whether it's SQL Server, it can be Hadoop, it can be running on Linux, and you just deploy the code. So a bit of the burden is taken from the data scientists, and the tasks now can be spread through data and data analysts. Also, it made it much more flexible and agile. I'll show later that code can be deployed into Azure, it can be used in Hadoop and so on. So prior to 2016 release, Microsoft acquired a company called Revolution Analytics, and that was in April of 2015. Prior to that, the Revolution Analytics had two versions of their R Open and R Enterprise product, which Microsoft acquired and created based on Revolution R Open. Microsoft created Microsoft R Open, and for the commercial uses, they created a couple of different flavors, I might say, of this enterprise version. So one was SQL Server R Services, which is being run on the Windows Server, and there is also Microsoft R Server, which can be run under different flavors. It can be Linux, SUSE, Hadoop, and so on. We have to know that the R Open is free. It's a free software. It's a open source R distribution, and it is also enhanced by Revolution Analytics, whereas the commercial one, it can be installed as a standalone server capability or as a client version. So what is R? R is a quite old statistical programming language developed in 70s, but it gained much more popularity in the past 15 years. One reason given was that it's a free software, open source in terms of the community being able to create and develop different libraries. It has extremely powerful graphical capabilities. It's cross-platform and multi-paradigm, and there are repositories like Cron or GitHub with more than 9,000 libraries available. So if you have any kind of statistical problem, R is there to solve and help you use it. And there are some couple of useful links. You can download the libraries from these websites. RStudio or R Tools for Visual Studio is Microsoft version of RStudio, which is available for free. So what is this Microsoft R platform? Microsoft R platform in terms of Microsoft R server can be divided and is divided with the family product into R open, R client, and R server. R open, as said, is a free-based distribution. It has a couple of limitations in terms of the RAM, so your database, your size of the data set must not exceed your memory. It does not run in multi-threaded and so on. Client is actually a light version, which can push the data to our server and have data being computed and prepared at the server side. In this case, you would need a deploy R and connect R libraries, which came with this Microsoft R server environment. And then, of course, there is a R server, which is a standalone, and SQL R services, which is in database. It's essentially the same R server, just two different flavors. So R server supports connectivity to Linux, Teradata, Hadoop, and HD inside, whereas the R services, it's actually the SQL, it's actually the R server that connects to your database, so SQL Server. Briefly, what does it mean? Now you can run actually the R code in Transact SQL. So this is the example how you run it. It is run through external procedures, so you have a couple of parameters which you need to define. Under the parameter script, you will see that you have to define the R code, which can be in terms of, in corporate environment prepared by data scientists and used by, data engineers, DBAs, so whoever is going to do any kind of data analysis. And then this script pushes the data to our server and returns the results. In this case, I'm returning with this SQL Server with R script embedded, I'm returning a predictive model for prediction. As I said, it is also very powerful and useful engine for graphics. In this case, you can see the code where I'm taking the data out of AdventureWorks database, and I'm querying the data, pushing the data to R, and R is returning me some sort of graphical presentation of my data. This is also very good for data presentation and data visualization. You can embed this kind of code and scripts into your mobile reporting or Power BI or, of course, reporting services. But as I said, if you're using the not open but client or server edition, both support multi-threaded work, and it is heavily parallel, which means that it can take a lot of data. It is not memory limited, so the data can exceed, so you can have like hundreds of gigabytes of data, and server edition of the R will have capabilities of computing that. So this is actually essentially the same piece of code, just using the scale R proprietary functions that is available in Microsoft R server, returning the same result. Imagine if you would have much larger data set, you would see that it is scalable. It can compute on much higher and much bigger data volume. Scale R algorithms, for all the data scientists and people running the statistical analysis, you can see that much of the important aspects of data preparation and data descriptions and any kind of predictions and model preparation are covered by these scale R algorithms. And what is the benefit of this R integration? It comes in different versions. It is distributed workloads, it's multi-threaded, and it's, as I said, heavily parallelized. It can be run on Windows, Linux, or Mac with different flavors depending on where your data is residing. it is very good for model predictions and model deployment. If you're running the server version, there is no memory constraint. It means less data movement, less bottlenecks in performance, no data size limitations, and of course no security issues. It is hybrid topologies, and it is good for agile deployment, stable platform for data parallelization, and of course all the R code is available in your management studio. But not to forget, it is community and commercially supported, and R is of course growing in popularity, and whenever you'll have some sort of a statistical problem, I'm sure that the community will be there to support you. Thank you very much.